taking a bit of a gamble with our life and our marriage, and with Mike being out so much of an evening and, you know, getting work and...
Well, you know, thank God I've been able to get quite a bit for them. We've got a TV show which was tremendously hard to get. If you want to know why I keep on at it, that's, you know, it's like everything else when a man goes into business on his own. There's a possible pot of gold, I suppose, at the other end of the rainbow. It's just that, man, the rain and the sun haven't come out at the same time yet. And that's what we're waiting for. That's really what we're waiting for. It could happen, it might not.
From Tapio and Felicio, but at the line, Felicio getting up, he's nearly going to get there. At the line, it's a photo finish for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned to
Music Lovin',
Dave Cash.
on 247 Radio 1.
And the time is 10 minutes past 4.
Let's look into the future time. Take the tune that's gonna climb. Breaking with the sound of tomorrow.
Thank you very much. This is the brand new one by the Mike Stuart Span.
I never showed that I was lonely.
Called You Can Understand Me.
I fooled the world with my disguise.
The Mike Stuart Span is a very interesting group because, in my estimation, there are two types of groups. One type that make records over and over again, they don't mean anything. And other groups that are good enough to make the hit parade musically, but just are searching for the right sound. I don't think Mike Stewart has got the right sound this time. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think they should have given up on this record before they actually released it, and had the Mike Stewart agency and management people, whoever behind them, had really looked at this, I'm sure they'd have found that this wasn't a hit.
Isn't that pitiful?
September the 28th, and the group open their own record shop in Brighton. The idea? To invest the royalties they expect to gain from their song, a record that's been on the market for a month already. But do they have anything to invest? Have they been over-optimistic?
The record hasn't been a great success in this country so far. Very honestly, due to lack of cooperation between the publisher and the general corporation, you know, the BBC.
But what he really means is...
Frankly, I didn't like the record. And privately to a few people who I could confide in said so, and these people, if they were called to court now, could say this on my behalf.
I think one big fault lay in lack of communication.
I think that he's had to spend more time with the shop, and consequently, the group has suffered because of it.
Whoa, Mike's not getting us any work, or he's not doing this, that, and the other. Mike's spoken to nearly every promoter in the country, man.
It was rather disappointing to know that we've been away for 4 weeks and to come back and to find it's all sort of all over.
We asked how many had been sold, and we had a figure of 260 something, I think it was, which we could hardly believe. You know, we thought it must be the first week's sale.
Oh, you know, come on, let's not be sorry for ourselves. I'm still working on it. Admittedly, it's taking longer than it ought to. I've been 2 years at the Span. I want, for my own ego's sake, to make it with the Span. Let's face it, you know, otherwise I'm just going to be a little has-been loser guy.
But actually, you can't say you've made any money from this record because it was a flop.
2% of 8 and 4 times 800. Not a lot, my boy.
We didn't get out all of our
We're
money.
still owed 20 quid each.
£200 we didn't get.
He accused us.
But Mike had his full commission out of it. He took his out and made sure he got his.
And I'm very sorry, but thank you, I'd rather be out of it.
But really, we ought to find out what's going to happen. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves, I think, in a few weeks without any work and without any manager, any agency or nothing.
So the last image didn't click. Answer? Change it. A new style means a new onslaught on the now familiar obstacle course. Coming up for Christmas, and the Span are forced to rehearse in makeshift conditions like the local youth club. They now spend more time practicing than performing in public. They try hard to learn from their mistakes. But what were their mistakes? They know their old style didn't work, but why didn't it? Were they badly handled? Did they take the wrong advice? Was it merely a case of insufficient capital to climb the first hurdles? Who in fact do they think is to blame? How do they see the future with their manager? Is it the end of the line?
It's the end of the line as far as Mike Clayton's concerned with us, and as far as any association he's had with the group.
You can know somebody for years, and think that they're doing the right thing for you, and then they sort of let you down behind your back, like Clayton has.
I just don't want anything to do with him. The quicker we get out of his area, the better. You know, I'd never met a manager like Mike before. And he seemed great. All the things we said about him before. Now I'd like to stuff my guitar right up his throat. Well, here I am labouring once more. Since last week when Mike Clayton decided to finally have nothing to do with us. We've telephoned a number of times and the phone has been picked up the other end, but it hasn't been answered. So I don't know whether he's a bit worried of what's going to happen. And so here we are, just sort of not knowing what to do. We haven't had any share of any profits, and there's been no mention of it from Mike.
Well, so far as I am aware, with regard to the shop, we are still partners. They came round and saw me, last Saturday morning, and were going to phone me on Monday to arrange a business evening at my flat one night this week. And so far I haven't heard from them, so, if they're not interested in the shop, well, okay, I'm glad I haven't got to pay them anything. But if they want to come round and talk about it, I'm quite happy to be associated with them still. Like 3.5 years has suddenly walked out on me. They don't seem to think that. I guess if some guy with £3,000 had come along and said to them, now look, forget Mike Clayton, I've got 3,000 here, now we'll make a record and I'll have the front page. Do you think they'd have worried about me? Like hell. I can't invest any more money in them because A, I haven't got it, and B, if I had it would be pouring good money after bad. I certainly haven't got it. In fact, I'm sitting here with a lot of very big problems over finance. I can't go bankrupt. If I go bankrupt, then I lose the flat, I lose everything, I'm on the streets then. Stay in the pop business? No, definitely not now. This is the second group I've tried to get on to the top, and perhaps it's my character in the end. What are you supposed to do? I mean, I'm just making myself more of a bum with the agents in London for keep on trying to plug the Mike Stuart Span when they don't want to book them. It hasn't affected my marriage at all. It's like 10 years off her, I think was how she described it to me the other night. Made her 10 years younger. A calm and serenity has arrived. I shall wear a trilby hat, a bow tie, and be door bashing for some bloody clothes peg manufacturer or something, I expect. Salesman. I really wouldn't enjoy it because I've just been within this business for 8 years. I own a stamp collection, a few life policies, life insurance policies, and a lot of my furniture. And that, is about it.
I'm traipsing around all the agencies and nobody wants to know. Nobody will give us a job.
Well, if it goes on for very much longer like this, I'm afraid I'm going to have to chuck it in.
We've even had to change our name now to Leviathan.
We haven't had any work for a whole month now. We're absolutely broke. It's bloody horrible at the moment. Terrible.
If I had the time to do all the things that I wanted to do, where would I ever start? I might go to Parliament, to the seat of government, turn them on to better things. People of the family land, there are some who worse than you need our loving more than you. If we only had more time. They say the time is on our side. another 30 men have died already.
Look, it's going boom, pop, boom, pop, boom, pop. What we do, we'll tape a verse, and then you can hear what it sounds like. Yeah. But take it easy. 2, 3, 4.
Early spring, and at long last a break. After weeks of waiting, idleness, and serious thoughts about chucking it all in, word has passed along the pop grapevine about them, and from out of the blue, they receive an offer from an American company. And so the same boys, but newly named Leviathan, are able to try out some of their songs in recording studios. If they go down well, there's a promise of some singles, and later